Imagine you say to yourself, "Don't think about the blue elephant." What happens? It is the image of the blue elephant that first arises in your mind. This simple example illustrates an amazing paradox of the human mind that underlies one of the most effective techniques for working with the subconscious mind, the Neville-Goddard technique. Modern neuroscience has discovered that our brains, at a deep level, are unable to process denial. When we try to not think about something, we inevitably create that image in our minds. What's more, the very effort to suppress the thought only keeps it more firmly in the focus of our attention. This phenomenon is known as the paradoxical intention effect. Even more interesting is a discovery related to the neuroplasticity of the brain. Studies have shown that our brains respond almost identically to both real-life experiences and vivid visualizations. When we regularly refer to a certain image, especially if it is accompanied by strong emotions, the corresponding neural connections are formed and strengthened in our brain. This is why visualization techniques, when applied with deep emotional engagement, can produce such impressive results in working with the subconscious mind. Thus, what began as a simple blue elephant paradox actually reveals the deep mechanisms of how our conscious and subconscious minds work, confirming the effectiveness of ancient practices with modern scientific findings. Let's look at how to apply this method in practice. The technique consists of 3 simple but effective steps that must be performed in sequence. Begin with evening visualization. Just before going to bed, when your mind is relaxed and receptive, create the most vivid and detailed image of the desired result. If your goal is financially related, visualize a specific amount of money. Don't just think of numbers. Immerse yourself in a full sensory experience. Feel the texture of the banknotes under your fingers, feel their weight in your hands. Listen to the characteristic sound of counting the bills, catch the specific smell of new money. The main thing, allow yourself to fully feel the emotions of possessing this amount. The second step is done during the day and may seem paradoxical. You begin to consciously deny the image you created the day before. Regularly repeat to yourself phrases like, "I will not count this money," or "I will not think about this amount of money." Reinforce the effect by placing notes with such denials wherever they often catch your eye. The third step is to take the right approach to repeating the technique. Practice this method for 3 days, but, and this is critical, do not make conscious efforts to achieve the goal. Your task is to trigger the natural process of the subconscious mind and not to interfere with it with excessive control. Remember, the less you worry about the outcome, the more effective the technique works. This method may seem unusual, but it is in its seeming paradoxicality lies the secret of its effectiveness, confirmed by both practical experience and modern scientific studies of the brain. To truly appreciate the effectiveness of this technique, it is important to realize that it simultaneously affects several levels of our psyche. Let's look at how each of these levels works and why their interaction creates such a powerful transformational effect. At the cognitive level, a clear mental image of the desired result is created. When we activate our visualization processes, our brain begins to form new neural connections. It's like laying down new paths in a garden. The more often we walk on them, the more distinct and stable they become. The regular practice of visualization literally rebuilds the architecture of our brain, creating a solid foundation for the desired changes. The emotional level plays an equally important role. In the process of practicing, we generate positive emotions associated with achieving a goal. This automatically reduces anxiety about the result, because our brain begins to perceive the desired thing as something that already exists. A so-called emotional anchor is formed, a stable connection between a certain state and positive experiences, which will automatically trigger the emotional reactions we need in the future. On the behavioral level, perhaps the most noticeable changes occur. Habitual patterns of thinking are gradually transformed and new, more productive habits are formed. Most importantly, the desired responses become automated over time. We begin to naturally act as if the desired outcome has already been achieved. This creates a powerful feedback loop, further enhancing the effectiveness of the technique. It is this complex effect on all levels of the psyche that makes this technique so effective. It doesn't just create temporary changes, but triggers deep processes of transformation that eventually become part of our new reality. To maximize the effectiveness of this technique, it is important to consider several key features. Each of them makes a significant contribution to the final result, and their proper combination creates a powerful synergistic effect. The first and perhaps most important is the specificity of the image being created. You can't limit yourself to vague or abstract representations. The more detailed and precise will be your visualization, the stronger will be its impact on the subconscious mind. Include all the senses: sight, hearing, touch, smell, and even taste, if appropriate. Create scenarios that are as realistic as possible, as if you were making a detailed movie about achieving your goal. The second key aspect is the regularity of practice. The technique is based on a 3-day cycle, and this is not accidental. This is the optimal period for the formation of primary neural connections and consolidation of new patterns of thinking. It is extremely important not to interrupt the practice during this period. At the same time, the process should remain natural, without excessive tension or compulsion. Imagine that you are not performing a complex exercise, but playing a fascinating game. The third essential point is emotional involvement. Dry, mechanical visualization will never have the same effect as practice filled with lively, vivid emotions. It is important not just to visualize what you want, but to truly experience positive emotions associated with its achievement. Any tension or excessive effort should be avoided. Trust the process. Your subconscious mind knows what to do. Just let it work. Observing these features turns the technique from a simple exercise into a powerful tool for transforming reality. Remember, the quality of your practice directly determines the quality of the result.